Hey, what's going on, guys? And today I'm going to be showing you a video of how to set up the gdrive EV RaW for PC. Now there are two methods of how you can set this up. The first method is through the command prompt and using the disk management tool. And the second method is using the G technology format setup. In other words, the first one is slightly more technical and the second setup is really easy. So if you want that easy setup, just look at the timestamp down below the video and you can just jump straight to it. So when we zoom into our before and after pictures, many of you who are watching this video right now are probably on your before step, meaning that you've plugged in your gdrive to the computer and you've probably heard that typical sound when you plug in a USB drive and your computer knows you've plugged in a USB, but for whatever reason, you can't see anything. So if you take a look at my before picture, you can see my OS, my C drive, but you can't see anything else, and I have the hard drive plugged in. This tutorial is going to show you how to make your computer recognize your hard drive. So basically we're going to go from the before step to the after step. Alright guys, currently we are on my desktop, and if you look over here to the left, you can see that I have two drives. The first one is my main drive, which has my operating system, the C drive, and you have this one. It's called New Volume. It's the D drive. This drive is the G drive. Now, if you're setting up your G drive for the first time, you're not going to see this. Okay, consider this to be gone if you haven't set this up yet. Okay, the reason why I can see mine is because I've already went through the steps. Now, I can go through. Folder's completely empty. There's nothing inside. Okay, so I'm going to show you the steps to get through this. So, oh, and big warning I'm going to put in right here. If you have any other external hard drives or any USB drives, I highly recommend that you pull them out right now, just because it will probably save you some confusion when we get to the disk management tool. So any extra external drives, please take them out. It does make things a little less complicated and you're probably least likely to mess up. If you're working on, if your PC has a couple of internal hard drives, no pressure, I can walk you through the steps, but if you're nervous about it, go ahead, open up your PC and just, unplug hard drives that don't need to be there, with the exception of, your OS drive, because of course you need that. So just big warning sign, just because the steps that we're about to take, it's easy, but if you screw up, yeah, it's probably going to be hard to come back from that. So right now we're going to go down to the Windows. We're going to type in disk management. Now you're probably already going to see something called create and format hard disk partitions. Go ahead and click that. Alright, so just to explain this window a little bit, right now you can see two disks. I have disk 0 and disk 1. Disk 0 is my C drive, alright, and as you can see, it's been partitioned quite a few times. I did not partition this. This was already partitioned. So if you kind of click through each one, and as I click, it gets highlighted. You can see the different partitions that's there. All right, and if you click on this big one, it'll highlight the OS. I don't know why when you click it. Oh, there you go. It highlighted it this time. Yeah. So you can go through and click each one, and you can see what disk 0 is. Now here, mine says new volume. Yours is probably not going to say anything, or it's probably going to say disk 1, blah, 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 blah. But try to be very careful when you're looking at this stuff. If you know what kind of capacity you bought your hard drive, this is a 1 terabyte. You know, technically 1 terabytes aren't really 1 terabytes. It's like a little bit less. But if you know what you've bought, try to, look at what you have. So try to look at your capacity and determine, if that's your hard drive or not. This is the reason why I said unplug any unnecessary hard drives, because the last thing you want to do is see a bunch of hard drives and accidentally wipe out a hard drive. More than likely, your first disk or disk 0 is going to be your C drive. I think that's going to be true for almost everybody who watches this video. But it's really your other disk that is unknown. So, I don't have any other hard drives except for the first one, which is disk 0. So the G drive just went to disk 1. Yours might be disk 2 or disk 3 or disk whatever. So just check that out. Another good way to determine what disk you're at, if you're kind of nervous about this, and let's say you do have extra hard drives, just unplug your G drive, restart the disk management, and see how many disks you have. Then plug back in your G drive and restart the disk management. When I say restart, I mean like actually close it and pull it back up again. And then it'll show the new disk, and more than likely it's going to default to whatever disk. If you had 3 disks before and then you plug in the G drive, it's probably going to be disk 4. So mine is disk 1. All right, disk 1. Yours probably isn't going to say primary partition. It's probably going to say something else. Don't worry about it. Just remember, try to figure out which disk you have and remember the number. This is super duper important. I can't stress that enough. So once you've determined your disk number for your G drive, again, go back here, type in cmd, command prompt, and click run as administrator, or you can also right click, run as administrator. Now I know this is usually a pretty scary screen for most people who aren't used to it. I certainly don't like it, but it's actually a little easier than you think. So right now, the first thing you want to type in is disk part. So disk part, one word, disk part. Okay, hit enter. All right, now we're on disk part. After you do that, type in select space disk space, and then type in the number, which is why I left it open. So I remember that it was disk 1. It's highly important that you get this number right. I don't know if you type in disk 0 and hit enter, I don't know if you get a prompt giving you an error, just because the computer would know that this is your OS and you'd probably be wiping it. But it's just super duper important that you select the correct disk on any hard drive. If you have important hard drives that have important information on it that you don't want to lose, back it up and just make sure that you select the right disk, because this is kind of like, once we do this, that's it. So type in select disk and the number disk that you have. Mine is number 1. Yours might be 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever number. Hit enter. This one is now the selected disk. Okay, next step. So we still haven't gone through the irreversible part. Next, type in clean. This is the part where if you did select the wrong disk, you're in trouble. So I'm going to type in clean and hit enter. It's going to do its thing. And there we go. This part succeeded in cleaning the disk. Okay. And you've probably noticed, I'll bring this over here. This has now turned solid black. It's unallocated. And you can still see how much hard drive. I know I didn't mess up my OS, my C drive, because it's still intact and the computer's still running. So after that, we're not done. Don't exit out yet. Type in the word, exit, hit enter. Leaving this part, we're back to the Windows system. Now we're finished with that. Hit X. Same with this thing, hit X also. So now, as you can see, empty, right? There's nothing there. My G drive is still plugged in. And for people who are doing this the first time, you're probably still aren't going to see anything. So this would have been like your first step. If you plugged in your G drive and you didn't see anything, this is what you probably saw at first. And this is what we're going through the steps on. Go back down here, type in disk management. You don't even have to type in the whole thing. It pretty much knows what to bring up. Create and format hard disk partitions. Open it. Now this time you get an initialize disk prompt. Okay. It says disk 1. All right, so that's the one that I basically cleaned out. Yours might say disk 2, might say disk 3, might say disk 4. Now, here are some important things. There's MBR and there's GPT. Now, I don't fully know what these do, but I do know one thing. You select GPT if you have a hard drive that is more than 2 terabytes. So basically, if you have 3 terabytes and up, this is the one you want to select. Now, the one thing that I've heard is that if you do select this option, it won't work on a Mac. That's the only thing I've heard. I don't know. I don't have a Mac and I can't test that out for you. If you have a hard drive that is 2 terabytes and less, you want to select MBR. Okay, so 2 terabytes and less, select this one. Basically, if you're 3 terabytes and up, or 2 terabytes and up, but I don't see why you would do this if you had 2 terabytes and up. If you're 2 terabytes and up, select this option. I think if you do plug in a hard drive that's bigger than 2 terabytes, I think you'll probably get like a little warning note, like just a little like tip saying, hey, GPT is recommended if you have a hard drive that is more than 2 terabytes, blah, blah, blah. Since mine is a 1 terabyte, I don't see that, but let me know in the comments if you do see that if you have more than 2 terabytes. I don't know how it works. But anyway, if you have less, select MBR master boot record. All right, hit OK. And it's going to do something. Oh, yeah, that's it. So, that window went away. So now we're at disk 1. It says unallocated. You're going to go ahead and you're going to right click, new simple volume. And now you get the wizard tool. So click next. Maximum disk space, minimum disk space. I want the maximum. Next. Assign the following letter drive. Now, most people will probably tell you just to leave it alone. The only reason why I'm going to change mine is simply because I have another Western Digital that already labeled itself as D, and I'm going to probably be transferring some files, and I just don't want it to mess it up. So I'm just doing this because I have another hard drive that does claim itself to be D, and yeah, I'm just going to rename mine to F. You don't have to rename the letter drive if you don't want to. But that's definitely your opinion. Let's see. Not the following, blah, blah, blah. Leave that empty. Do not assign a drive letter or path drive. No, I want it to have a letter. Next. So this is what you saw before. When I first did this, I didn't know what it was going to do. So it's going to say volume label. You get to rename it if you want to. I'm going to rename it like just my name, my YouTube, because that's kind of what this thing is for. It's sort of all of my video files. Leave this the way it is. Perform a quick format. Blah, blah, blah. Leave this the way it is. Leave this the way it is. All right, and it's going to complete it. So let's hit finish. You can see it's formatting. And there you go. And, oh, cool. And it already opened it up, so already inside. Let's refresh this. And there we go. We've created it. So those are the steps to have your G drive show up on your computer. Or rather, should I say, really what you're doing is formatting it. That way you can access it. What I didn't know about this hard drive when somebody bought it for me was that it's formatted to a Mac and not to a PC. And you've got to go through some steps to make it show up. Now, this is where I'm going to show you, I guess, what would be the easy way. There is a program that they have called G Format Wizard. And I'll show you how to get to that. If you go to their store, so let's go to the beginning. All right, so this is the Western Digital Store. Click shop. You can go here. You could say portable drives or whatever drive you have. I don't know. So we're doing the gdrive EV RaW. Click. And if you scroll down to resources, download Windows Wizard zip. So click that. I have already installed mine. So let's open it up. And I'm doing this for the first time. I actually have no idea how this works. So welcome to the G Technology Format Wizard. X. Okay, so let's put this in the middle. Available drives. Please select your drive. So, right, already you can see it's not even going to select my C drive. And there's the volume name that we named it before. There's the F drive, model number, serial number, capacity. Let's hit next. Name your drive. Just gonna name it my YouTube name and basically everything else. Assign drive letter. Sure, why not? Let's name it S. Okay, the drive will be formatted to NTFC or NTFS. Click next. So basically here it is the warning. The drive will be formatted for Windows. All data will be erased. Are you sure you want to format this drive? Yes, I'm sure. And this is kind of the reason why I'm doing this video, just because once I stick files on there, I don't want to have to do this ever again. So it's formatted, finish. And let's go back to and here it is. It's already renamed. Go in it. It's empty. So that's the super duper easy method. Probably the method where you're less likely to screw up and wipe a hard drive that you're not supposed to wipe. Yeah, I obviously prefer the format wizard tool, but when I first did this, I just went to YouTube and I looked up a guy who did this, and he did the whole command prompt. So I just figured I would just show that method. But obviously, you can do the easy G technology format wizard, and that's a whole lot better, and it feels a whole lot safer, and it feels like you can breathe through the steps. The reason why I'm showing this video is because, again, this hard drive was given to me. I asked my dad to buy me this hard drive. Or actually, I didn't ask him to buy me this hard drive. I just asked for a simple hard drive because I had ran out of space. And yeah, he, I guess, just went to the store, picked up a hard drive, and gave it to me. And like how I normally do it, when I get an external hard drive, I just assume that it's plug and play. I'm not really thinking that I have to format this thing. I think most people who probably, go through the product page, whether it's on here or on Amazon, they probably see the typical, I'm trying to find it, the text where basically you'll see the text that says perfect for Mac and Windows, formatted for Mac out of the box. Most people who probably read that probably don't realize how much, or they probably don't realize that yes, it's formatted for a Mac, but if you want it to show up on your Windows computer, you're going to have to reformat it. Otherwise, you're going to have the issue that I did, which is when I first plugged it in, I didn't see anything here at all. And I was kind of left confused, wondering what the heck kind of hard drive did, my dad buy. What is this thing? It's not working. Is there something wrong with my computer? There's something wrong with the cables, blah, blah, blah. Only to do a little bit of research to find out that I have to reformat it. Now, people who are probably looking at this video are wondering, okay, why didn't you look at the instructions? Well, I threw them away. I opened the box, threw away the instructions, and then 2 weeks later, when I did finally want to use a hard drive, that's when I came up with this little error. So I think it's a pretty easy thing to miss, honestly. And if you kind of want my opinion on this hard drive, I mean, well, you see it's got like 4 stars on Amazon. I mean, I think it's good in the sense that now I've got it working, but I guess I give this this G technology drive a 1 star for, I guess, setup, just because honestly, I don't know, most people when they buy a hard drive, they just assume it's plug and play. And if you tell them, hey, it works on Mac and PC, which is kind of how the box, read as, the box was like, hey, this is going to work on your PC and on your Mac, you're not really thinking that you have to format anything at all. So I think I don't want to say it's slightly misleading, but I think most people, if they pick this up and just plugged it in, thinking that it's a normal external hard drive and that's just plug and play, they probably would get frustrated and just return it. I can only imagine that if my dad bought this for himself, he'd probably plug it in, wondered why it's not working, what's up with his computer, and probably would just return the drive. Luckily for me, I did just a little bit of research and luckily found a YouTube video of how to do it, because I didn't even know it was the drive itself that I had to format. I thought for a second there something was wrong with my computer, or that I had too many hard drives plugged in, and I didn't even know what the problem was until just doing a little research, and after already formatting it, I found out, oh, this particular hard drive, you have to format it on a PC. It comes formatted for Macs, and you need to format it for a PC. So that's all. That's the only reason why I'm kind of showing this, and I guess you could say that's sort of my mini review on this this G drive. I don't think it's bad. I mean, so far it's working. I've seen some reviews. People claim that after a couple of weeks or months, I guess it stops working. We'll see. Maybe I'll do like a little update video on it, but for now, it's fine. comes with a USB 3.0 cable and a USB-C cable, so I can use it with my Surface Go, which is great. Anyway, thank you for watching. If this video has helped you out, please leave a comment, like, and below, and please subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you, and I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.